Most jackpots get won by people who came to gamble. Cup of coffee, a stack of bills, a plan to lose a little and maybe get lucky. This one got won by a guy who didn't even want to be there. His name was Elmer Sherwin, and before I tell you how he turned a $5 slot pull into $19 million overnight, I need you to understand something about who this man was. Because the money isn't even the craziest part of this story. The craziest part is what he did with it. Twice. Let's go back. Elmer was a World War II veteran. He'd stormed the beaches at Normandy. He came home, built a quiet life, worked hard, and got old the way most people do. Slowly, without anyone paying attention. By the time this story happens, he's 76 years old, a retired man. The kind of guy you'd walk right past in an airport and never look twice. In 1989, the Mirage opens in Las Vegas. Now, if you don't know what that meant at the time, the Mirage wasn't just another property on the Strip. It was the event. Steve Wynn had just dropped $630 million building the most ambitious casino the city had ever seen. A volcano out front that erupted on the hour, white tigers, a rainforest in the lobby. People flew in from all over the country just to stand inside it. And Elmer Sherwin? He was passing through. That's it. He wasn't a whale. He wasn't a high roller. He wasn't there chasing a jackpot. He just wanted to see what all the noise was about. So he wanders onto the casino floor, and he finds a Megabucks machine. Here's the thing about Megabucks you need to understand. It's not a normal slot. It's a network. A whole bunch of machines across a whole bunch of casinos, all linked together, all feeding into one giant progressive jackpot that climbs and climbs until somebody hits it. The house edge on these things is brutal. The odds of lining up that top combination? Roughly 1 in 49 million. You're more likely to get struck by lightning, twice. Elmer doesn't know any of that, or if he does, he doesn't care. He feeds the machine. A few dollars here, a few dollars there, just killing time. And then he loads in his stake for one more pull, $5, and he pulls the handle, and the reels stop. $4.6 million in the brand new Mirage, on a machine that had barely been warm a few weeks. A 76-year-old veteran who wasn't even supposed to be gambling that day just became one of the biggest jackpot winners in the history of Las Vegas. Now, and here's where it gets interesting. Most people would take that money and never touch a slot machine again. You won. You beat odds that would make a mathematician faint. You walk away. You buy the house, the car, you spoil the grandkids, you die happy. That's the smart play. Elmer did buy a home. He did take care of his family. He moved out to Las Vegas, actually, settled in, became a local, and he kept playing. Not recklessly, not chasing losses, but he kept pulling that Megabucks handle, year after year, the way some people buy a lottery ticket every Friday. A little ritual, a little hope. And here's the part nobody believes when they first hear it. 16 years go by. Elmer is now 92 years old. 92. Most people his age aren't on a casino floor at all. They're home, in a chair, telling stories about the war. But Elmer's still out there, still playing, still a regular. It's 2005. He's at a casino called The Cannery, out in North Las Vegas. Quiet place, nothing like the Mirage. And he sits down at, you guessed it, a Megabucks machine. And he pulls the handle. Now let me ask you something before I tell you what happened. What are the odds of one human being hitting the Megabucks jackpot, the 1 in 49 million shot, not once, but twice in a single lifetime? Statisticians have tried to put a number on it. The honest answer is, it shouldn't happen. It is so close to impossible that the math basically shrugs and walks out of the room. The reels stop. $21.1 million. I'm not making this up. Elmer Sherwin, 92 years old, World War II veteran, became the only person ever confirmed to hit the Megabucks jackpot twice. The first time for $4.6 million, the second time for $21.1 million. Same network, same impossible odds, same handle. The eye in the sky reviewed it. The pit bosses reviewed it. There was nothing to find. No edge sorting, no shuffle tracker trick, no card counting. None of that even exists on a slot machine anyway. There was no system, there was no scheme. There was just an old man, a chair, and a pull of the handle that broke the universe twice. And now, this is the part that gets me. This is why I wanted to tell you this story instead of 1,000 other big wins. What did Elmer do with $21 million? He gave most of it away. This man, who lived through the worst war in human history, who watched friends die on a beach in France, took that second fortune and started writing checks to veterans groups, to the people building a memorial for the fallen, to Hurricane Katrina relief, because 2005 was the year Katrina hit, and Elmer saw what happened to those families and decided his impossible luck was supposed to go somewhere. He'd already had a long life. He didn't need a yacht. He needed to do something that mattered. So here's my question for you, and I want you to actually think about it before you scroll. If you were 92 years old and you hit $21 million on a slot machine, would you give it away? Or would you keep every single cent? There's no wrong answer, but I think it tells you something about a person. Drop it in the comments, I read them. Now look, I know what some of you are thinking. This is survivorship bias. For every Elmer, there are 49 million people who pulled that handle and got nothing. And you're right, you're completely right. The house edge on Megabucks is enormous precisely because almost nobody wins. That's the deal. That's the math that builds the volcano out front. We've got a whole separate video on how progressive jackpots actually work under the hood, why the odds are stacked the way they are, where all that drop money goes, and I genuinely recommend watching it, because it'll change how you see every flashing machine on the floor. But Elmer's story isn't really about the odds. The odds say he never should have won once, let alone twice. The odds say a passing traveler shouldn't have wandered into the brand new Mirage and walked out a millionaire. The story is what happened after the math gave up. If stories like this, the real ones, the ones that actually happened, are what you come here for, then you already know what to do. Elmer Sherwin passed away in 2007, 2 years after the second jackpot. He was 94. He'd given away most of a fortune that mathematics said couldn't exist, and he died known not as the luckiest man in Las Vegas, though he probably was, but as the guy who gave it back. So here's where I'll leave you. 2 camps. Camp 1 says Elmer was the luckiest human being who ever lived. Camp 2 says luck had nothing to do with it, that a man who survived Normandy and gave away $20 million made his own kind of luck a long time ago. Which camp are you in? Tell me below.